my esteemed sister and brother judges, learned Advocate General and Additional Advocate Generals of Kerala, learned Deputy Solicitor General of India in charge, President of the Bar Council of Kerala, President of the Kerala High Court Senior Advocate Association, President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, President of the Kerala Federation of Women Lawyers, Law Officer of Central and State Governments, respected senior advocates, members of the Bar, Registrar General and other registrars of this court, President and members of the Advocates Clerks Association, family members of Honorable Justice U.L. Bhat, who are viewing this reference online, ladies and gentlemen. We have assembled here to mourn the sad demise of Sri Justice U. Lakshminarayan Bhat, former Judge and Acting Chief Justice of this court, and former Chief Justice of Guwahati and Madhya Pradesh High Court, who left us for his heavenly abode on 6th June 2024 at New Delhi. Justice U.L. Bhat was born on 14th October 1933 in a village near Mangalore in the state of Karnataka to late Rao Sahib U. Subrahman Bhat and Srimati U. Geeta Bhat. His father, Sri Subrahman Bhat, was the first postgraduate degree holder in MA English in his community. He had worked as the principal and professor of English in Maharaja's College in Andhra Pradesh. After completing his school education, Sri U.L. Bhat pursued law in the year 1954 and enrolled as an advocate before the Chief Justice bench in Madras High Court in 1955. Thereafter, he joined the chambers of his brother-in-law, who was a doyen of Kasargod Bar on the civil side. In 1968, he was selected for the post of District and Session Judge and was appointed as such in 1970. He had served in that capacity till 1980 at various judicial districts in the state of Kerala. After dedicated service of more than a decade in the district judiciary, Sri U.L. Bhat was elevated as an additional judge of this court on 18 September 1980, and later he became a permanent judge. Thereafter, Justice Bhat was appointed as the acting Chief Justice of this court on 2 occasions before his elevation as the Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court on 2nd August 1991. He served as the Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court till December 1993. Later, Justice Bhat got transferred as the Chief Justice of Madhya Pradesh High Court, from where he demitted his office in the month of October 1995 on attaining the age of superannuation. The retirement life of Justice U.L. Bhat was fraught with official engagements. He was appointed as the President of Customs, Excise and Gold Control Appellate Tribunal, New Delhi, where he served for about 3 years. He was also designated as a senior advocate by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. I am given to understand by some of my brother judges that Justice U.L. Bhat had performed the duties as a judge of this court with exceptional skill and distinctions. He was the foremost expert of evidence law. His numerous judicial pronouncements reflect his wisdom, scholarship, and legal acumen, which have undoubtedly been recorded in the law journals as a testament to his qualities. Justice Bhat was an exceptional judge, delivering commendable rulings that uphold the dignity of the law. Even though Justice Bhat had experience only on the civil side of jurisprudence, he was appointed as the district judge who tried criminal cases and rose to prominence with logical judgments and decisions. His reputation for integrity preceded him, and his stance on public matters remains uninfluenced by external pressure or personal desires. He stands independent of connivance, temperatures, and authorization influence. As a respected and seasoned judge, Justice Bhat remains steadfast in his commitment, unswayed by capricious whims and unpredictable circumstances. I also came to understand that on the administrative side, Justice Bhat had served as the co-chairperson of the Kerala State Legal Aid and Advice Board, member of the Administrative Committee, and the chairman of Training Committee, apart from various other committees. His organizing capacity and ability were excellent. That apart, his lectures in Kerala Judicial Academy were indelible lessons to the judicial officers. Justice Bhat had authored books on evidence law like Relevancy, proof and evaluation of evidence in criminal cases, and lectures on the Indian Evidence Act. That apart, I have gone through the book Story of Chief Justice, authored by Justice Bhat, which is a classic work on the judiciary under the guise of his autobiography. I am sure this book is a significant addition to the libraries of India. In loving memory of his beloved daughter, Srimati U. Savitha, Justice U.L. Bhat has instituted U. Savitha Bhat Memorial Award as an endowment to the children of the staff of this court for encouraging them to improve their academic achievements. For the said purpose, Justice Bhat had donated a considerable amount which had been deposited in the Kerala High Court Employees Credit Cooperative Society. The interest accrued on the said amount is being used to give such cash awards every year to the children of the staff of this court who are top scorers from among the higher secondary and equivalent examination. Justice U.L. Bhat is survived by his two sons, Sri U. Subraya Bhat and Sri U. Suraj Bhat, who are working in corporate sectors. His granddaughter, Srimati Shraddha Bhat, is practicing advocate before the Karnataka High Court. Along with Birwad, we deeply mourn the demise of Justice U.L. Bhat. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court of Kerala, Mr. Justice Ashish Jitendra Desai, Honorable Judges of the High Court of Kerala, the President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Chairman of the Bar Council of Kerala, the President Kerala High Court Senior Advocates Association, the President Federation of Women Lawyers Kerala High Court Unit, law officers of the state, Deputy Solicitor General in charge, Senior Central Standing Counsel, taxes and other law officers of the central government, senior advocates, esteemed fellow members of the bar, members of the family of late Justice U.L. Bhat, Registrar General, registrars and staff of the High Court, staff of the Advocate General's Office, advocate clerks, ladies and gentlemen, and all other dignitaries joining online. Today, we have gathered here to condole the sad demise of Justice U. Lakshmi Narayana Bhat, former Judge and Acting Chief Justice of this Honorable Court and former Chief Justice of the High Courts of Guwahati and Madhya Pradesh, who was described by none other than Justice Krishnaiyer to be a bold, brilliant, and original judge known for his integrity and for being independent of expediencies, opportunism, and authoritarianism. His Lordship late Justice U.L. Bhat described himself as a proud Indian, an Andhra-born, Tulu-speaking Kannadiga, Keralite. He was born in the present-day Visakhapatnam as the son of late U. Subraya Bhat, who was a native of Udupi and who had moved to Visakhapatnam to teach in the Maharaja's College therein. And late Srimati U. Jalajakshi Amma, a pure Gandhian who used to clad herself in self-woven khadi dress. His Lordship began his school education at Visakhapatnam in a Telugu medium school. Due to the untimely death of his father, his family shifted to Mangalapuram and later to Kasargod, where he completed his school education. He graduated in physics from St. Aloysius College, Mangalapuram, and obtained post-graduation in science from Presidency College, Madras. His Lordship's desire to emulate his eldest brother-in-law, late Sri B.S. Kakaliya, who was a doyen of the Kasargod bar in the civil side, made him pursue law, and he passed his Bachelor of Law in 1954 from Madras Law College. After securing degree in law, he joined the chambers of his brother-in-law to undergo the then mandatory apprenticeship for 1 year. He enrolled as an advocate in the Madras High Court in 1955 and continued in his brother-in-law's chamber, who treated him like a son ever since he lost his father when he was 6 years old. With the reorganization of states, the then Kasargod Taluk became part of the then Kannur district of the newly formed Kerala state, and his Lordship's brother-in-law shifted practice to Thalassery, the headquarters of the district. He also followed his senior to Thalassery. With the establishment of a subordinate judges court at Kasargod in early 1957, the senior and the junior shifted their office to there. Like his senior and brother-in-law, he was also assiduous in his practice and was scrupulous with preparation of his brief. Hard work paid. Soon he became a name to count with the Kasargod bar, His concern for the well-being of the fellow members of Kasargod Bar, together with his widely recognized legal expertise, soon made him the leader of the Kasargod Bar, and he was chosen by his peers as the secretary of the Kasargod Bar Association. A casual entry to Prabhat Book House near his college hostel introduced him to the world of Marxism. While studying in Madras Law College, he got involved with leftist students' organization and soon, according to him, to his own words, became a card-carrying communist. He was a member of the committees of various hierarchies of the undivided Communist Party, and later, after the split in the Communist Party of the Communist Party of India, he was a member of the District and State Council of the Communist Party of India. In 1962, his lordship was elected the president of Kasargod Panchayat. The movement of the Kasargod public under his leadership saw Kasargod Panchayat being converted into a municipality. The existing members of the Panchayat were appointed as the members of the Municipal Advisory Committee, with the president as its chairman. Thus, he became the first chairman of the Kasargod municipality. Owing only due to his senior's persuasion and much against his personal aspiration, his lordship appeared for the municipal test in the year 1961. He topped the examination, but the state government, for political reasons, chose to debar him from being appointed as a municip. Initially, he chose to accept the decision of the government and continued with his rewarding and voluminous practice at Kasargod. However, soon, as advised by none other than the legendary A.K. Gopalan, he challenged his debarring before this honorable court. His case was tagged along with the writ petition filed by Sri K. George, a young and enterprising lawyer from Kottayam, who was also identically debarred by the government from being appointed as a municip, and who incidentally is my senior in the profession. Two writ petitions were initially referred to the division bench and were later dismissed. The judgment in which has been reported in K. George versus State of Kerala, 1963, KLT 1145. Their lordships of the division bench relied on a consideration of the impact of the communist faith in the conference of privy councillors in England, which went thus, I quote, "The communist faith overrides a man's normal loyalties to his country and induces the belief that it is justifiable to hand over secret information to the Communist Party or to the communist foreign power. This risk from the communist is not, however, confined to party members, either open or underground, but extends to sympathizers with communism," unquote. However, this decision was held to be not good law by a learned single judge of this honorable court later in Premakumar versus General Manager Telecommunications, 1982 KLT 643, relying on a subsequent Supreme Court judgments. Their lordships also turned out to be least prophetic in stamping their approval while deciding K. George cited Supra and acknowledging the then English concept of the communist faith overriding a man's loyalties to his country. I may borrow the following words of late Justice U.L. Bhat in his autobiography, quote, "Story of a Chief Justice is a mere membership of a lawful organization which is not proscribed by the state, sufficient to brand him unsuitable for government service, that too in Kerala, where at least once a decade communist veterans become chief ministers, home ministers and law ministers, or will the court proscribe them? Let us remember that Sri Inderjit Gupta, a communist over 50 years standing and later General Secretary of CPI, was the Home Minister of our country. If sympathies are also taboo, roughly 35% to 40% of Kerala adult population has to be denied government jobs from the peon to chief engineer. What grave secret information a municip can share with CPI or with a foreign power," unquote. As recollected by his lordship, the dismissal of this writ petition was an occasion of great relief to him. Despite Sri A.K. Gopalan's urging, he chose not to appeal against the same before the Honorable Supreme Court. Though the government of the day debarred him from being appointed as a municip, the litigant public flocked to his office with briefs. He continued with his successful litigation practice and social and political life at Kasargod. He also occasionally appeared before the district court at Talasheri. Again, due to his senior's compulsion, to whom he could never say no, he appeared for the interview for selection as district judge directly from the bar. He successfully qualified in the same. He had a keen interest in the Yakshagana and drama. He often took to the stage both for Yakshagana performance and dramas. Incidentally, it was while rehearsing for a drama in a nearby school that the postman served on him the letter of Chief Secretary offering him the post of District Sessions Judge. In the third week of May 1970, he began his career in the judiciary as the second additional District and Sessions Judge at Thiruvananthapuram. He officiated as an additional District Judge and Sessions Judge at Thiruvananthapuram and Thrissur, and as District and Sessions Judge at Palakkad, Kozhikode and Thiruvananthapuram. On 18/9/1980, after about a decade as a District and Sessions Judge, his Lordship was sworn in as a Judge of this Honourable Court. The following words in the editorial of Kerala Times at the time of his elevation to this Honourable Court speaks volumes for this exemplary career as a District and Sessions Judge. Quote, Sri Bhat made his mark as an outstanding member of the subordinate judiciary by his flair for the law, capacity and hard and sustained work, and sound knowledge of civil and criminal procedure, and above all by his robust common sense of justice. Unquote. Late Sri K. Sudhakaran, the then Advocate General of the State, on the occasion of the full court reference during the swearing of his Lordship, spoke thus, I quote, he gracefully walked up to his well-deserved destination of High Court judgeship, unquote. His court was certainly a learning experience for every other lawyer in the courtroom. Such was the systematic approach of him in assimilating the facts and the relevant legal principles of cases which came up for consideration in his court. He used to discuss the provisions of law and factual nuances of the case aloud, which enabled the lawyers even unconnected with the brief to understand the same. Though he practiced as a lawyer exclusively on the civil side and had been leading with civil and criminal cases as a District and Sessions Judge, he was equally at ease in considering and disposing of cases arising out of constitutional and administrative matters as a High Court judge. In fact, he had recalled in his autobiography that he had been preparing himself to deal with such cases in his last leg in the higher judicial service of the state. It was also due to his tenacious persuasive efforts that the integration of civil and criminal judiciary in the state, a matter close to his heart right from his days in the higher judicial service, fructified into a reality. He also took the initiative for starting the Directorate of Training for Judicial Officers in the state, which later metamorphosed into the present-day Kerala Judicial Academy. His footprints are evidently stamped in the sitting up of Kerala State Legal Aid Committee, the precursor to the present-day KELSA. He was the Vice Chairman of the Legal Aid Committee and put in earnest efforts in organizing mass Lokadalats in the various districts of the state. In 1991, while being the acting Chief Justice of this Honourable Court, his Lordship was appointed as the Chief Justice of the High Court at Guwahati, which at that point of time was the High Court for all the 7 sister states of Northeast. He, as Chief Justice, revitalized the Northeastern Judicial Officers Training Institute and was also instrumental in setting up a permanent bench of Guwahati High Court at Agartala, Tripura. In 1993, his Lordship was transferred as the Chief Justice of the Madhya Pradesh High Court. It was the pre-collegium days that the appointment of High Court judges were usually initiated by the Chief Justices of the High Courts. However, his Lordship believed in the widest possible consultation process and initiated steps to fill the astronomically higher number of vacancies of judges in the Madhya Pradesh High Court by finalizing nomination after consultation with all the judges of the High Court. His tenure at Madhya Pradesh saw 18 vacancies of judges in the High Courts being filled up. He also took the initiative to set up Judicial Officers Training Institute at Madhya Pradesh. Just before his retirement on attaining superannuation, his Lordship was appointed as the President of Customs, Excise and Gold Control Appellate Tribunal. This was seen as a consolation for the widely condemned supersession of his Lordship from being elevated to the Honourable Apex Court. To again quote Justice V.R. Krishnaiyer on the supersession of Justice U.L. Bhat, I quote, "But a good senior and great judge acted unafraid of authoritarian whims and wayward destinies, but became a martyr. He lost his appointment to Supreme Court because he was irreverent and not obsequious to seniors." I end quote. After remitting office as President of the SIGAD, he was designated as a senior advocate by the Supreme Court and, in his own words, commenced a severely restricted practice of law in High Court of Karnataka. His Lordship was married to Srimati Geeta Bhat, and the couple was blessed with 3 children, sons U. Subbaraya Bhat and U. Suraj Bhat, and daughter Savita. His daughter predeceased him. After demitting office from SIGAD, he settled in Bangalore in his house named Savita in memory of his daughter. Apart from his autobiography, he has also written a book titled Relevancy, Proof and Evaluation of Evidence in Criminal Cases, a study of the Evidence Act in assimilable form. His Lordship's own words sum up his judicial approach. I quote, I was a communist activist from the 50s. All communists who give their word keep it. At the oath administration ceremony, I gave my word to uphold the Constitution and the laws and deliver justice without fear or favor, goodwill or ill will. I kept my word. Of course, I had sufficient sagacity and common sense to stretch a little the elastic principles of law and render justice according to law and my conscience. I unquote. I share the grief of His Lordship's family over His Lordship's demise and offer my condolences. May His Lordship's soul rest in peace.
Honorable Mr. Justice A.J. Desai, Chief Justice, High Court of Kerala, Judges of this Honorable Court, the Advocate General, Director General of Prosecution, the State Attorney, the Deputy Solicitor General of India in charge, Chairman of the Bar Council of Kerala, Secretary and Executive Members of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, respected senior advocates, the Registrar General and the staff of this court, law officers of the state and central government, advocates clerk, and my colleagues at the bar, my brothers and sisters. We have gathered here today to share the grief of the family, friends, and well-wishers of Justice U.L. Bhat, who passed away on 6th of June 2024. Death most certainly brings grief, but it is also an occasion to celebrate a life well lived. Justice U.L. Bhat left a legacy that the judiciary can cherish on for a long time. Justice U.L. Bhat had retired as a Chief Justice of the High Court even before I joined the law school, and I must admit that I have no first-hand knowledge of Justice Bhat. However, I lay my hands on his autobiography published in 2013 titled Story of Chief Justice and indulge in binge reading and would recommend it as a compulsory reading material for the bar and the bench. The foreword to the book was written by none other than Justice V.R. Krishnaiah, who describes Justice U.L. Bhat as a bold, brilliant, and original with impeccable integrity. Justice Bhatt's views were not conditioned by pressures from above or cravings from below. Justice Krishnaiah says that Justice Bhat was a martyr of the collegium system. Justice retired K.T. Thomas is on record stating that non-elevation of Justice U.L. Bhat to the Supreme Court resulted in a great loss to the Supreme Court itself. I have read many articles that describe Justice Bhat as a victim of the collegium system, but I would go by the words used by Justice V.R. Krishnaiah because victims of the collegium system are always the bar and the people, and Justice Bhat was only a martyr. My colleagues at bar gave me insight into their experiences with Justice U.L. Bhat. Advocate Sugna Palan, senior advocate, describes Justice Bhat as the most brilliant among brilliants. Wit and humor came naturally to him. His expertise in evidence law was unparalleled. Justice U.L. Bhat has perhaps given the best insight to an outsider of the judicial system from inside and described judiciary as a near feudal setup. His autobiography is a story of courage, the ability to stand up for what is right as against who is right. His life was filled with obstacles put up by people who could not accept his integrity. He paid a huge price for integrity, but he chose to fail with honor than succeed by fraud. Justice Bhat believed in the independent nature of each judicial setup and did not like the district judiciary addressed as subordinate judiciary. Our Chief Justice, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, finally called upon us to stop referring the district judiciary as subordinate judiciary. This reflects the forward thinking of Justice Bhat because it took us a quarter of a century to implement one of his ideas. In fact, he was instrumental in changing many practices that almost discriminated judges belonging to the district judiciary, including the order in which judges are to be elevated when there is a mix of persons from service and the bar. Justice Bhat is one of those rare judges who believe that even High Court judges need to be trained for 6 to 12 months on elevation. I believe the best tribute the bar can give to Justice U.L. Bhat is to implement those of his ideas that would enhance the quality of justice delivery systems and also look deeper into the collegium system so as to ensure we get the best of the people in our constitutional courts purely based on merits. Justice Bhat was a man of character and integrity. From the day we are born, death is the only certainty in life, and yet it brings immense pain on family, friends, and well-wishers. We cannot wipe out that pain, but we can certainly share their grief. I, together with the members of Kerala High Court Advocates Association, pray the Almighty God to grant the family and friends affected by the loss of Justice U.L. Bhat enough strength to bear with the loss.
As a mark of respect to the departed soul, we shall now stand in silence for 2 minutes. The registry shall place on record and convey the condolence messages of the bar and the bench to the members of the bereaved family. Judicial work of the High Court shall stand suspended till 11 a.m. today.